Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Unraveling Clyde's web, but is this the end for Stefan? End game? Well, the cat's out of the Salem PD bag. Officer Goldman's got nothing to lose at this point now that Harris knows she's the operative. Plus, she's going to run straight to Clyde to let him know Stefan didn't get the job done. But how is he going to tell Rafe that without telling him about Stefan? If he wants Stefan to work for him, he kind of has to keep mute about the whole tried murder thing, no? It's not over to Harris whether or not to arrest and charge Stefan. This isn't a matter of pressing charges. The only way for Stefan to keep running around is for Harris to keep his mouth shut that he was the bone who tried to kill him. Doubly. Granted, in Salem, the rules don't generally apply, but it seems like Stefan's caught between a gemstone and a hard place. The maddening thing is there was no reason for him to be, since he should have had so numerous other options than try to murder Harris. It really feels like it's all been to initiative him into a no-palm script go to jail or have someone take him out on behalf of Clyde before he can squeal. Which leads me to my coming study. We allowed. We've been staying for Gabby to come back all this time, but what if, rather, we've been staying for Stefan's exit? He's turning to EJ for help coming week according to spoilers, but this would be the perfect occasion to get him out of the way, also for EJ to return to Demera. Heart to heart now that we re-down from Paulina coughing up a storm and clinging her throat all the time, we re-getting into the good emotional beats and it's reuniting the family. Drink back, Lonnie and Eli. If only they re-sticking around. I don't know how long this stint is, but I missed out that they re-back for good, especially after that. Well, Eli's could have an amazing job in DC line. Still, what Lamont Archie participated made it clear this isn't just some superficial visit. Days Lonnie and Eli looking down at Paulina in her sanitarium bed, happily holding Lonnie's hand. So, who's going to contribute their heart? My plutocrat was on Harris, but unless Clyde finds another way to take him out, I feel like I may have to abandon Death Watch 2024 for him. Officer Goldman, if she doesn't survive this, she's got to have a strong heart. Or how about Stefan? Let's just keep passing Jake's heart around. To tell the truth, I love that Teresa eventually told Tate how horrible she's been to Brady, but am I the only one who allowed he should stay frenetic at both of them for a bit? Fair or not, I suppose Brady and Teresa could have done with a little further time to reflect on their parenthood. But I guess he's still spooked and alone and needs his parents, so I can't condemn him. Plus, the immediacy between their happy reunion and EJ about to go nuclear on him was nice. Holly is awake. As for that, I was a whole lot more sympathetic to Holly before she woke up. I am enough sure she knows exactly what happened and who's responsible, and she's just trying to save her own skin. I get it, she's a teenager. But, come on. Tate's about to be on the entering end of an eschewal of controlled DA's vendetta. There's no way EJ can get any substantiation that Tate cured Holly, but EJ's going to be EJ and try to destroy him anyway. Perhaps formerly she hears this, Holly will realize saving him is more important than her own skin, but we LLC. Also again, if this either goes too far and blows up in EJ's face, going him his job, or the ties to Holly's OD go back to Stefan, it'll give EJ indeed more reason to get relief of his family so he can go back to Demera. Mega hit, and Miss Everett's been a mega hit for me, which is kind of emotional since he's a new character. But they tied him into Jada and Stephanie, giving them both some great stories as we all try to figure out what the hell's going on. This week break down a bit, but they couldn't keep up the snappy speed of what was coming out last week, so I get it. But should Jada really interrogated him and Chad? That doesn't feel super professional, seeing as how she's going into it determined to nail him to the wall. In the Black Patch office, Constantine pocketbooks his lips while defying John. Behind Constantine, Steve observes with a stressed-out expression. Further, Deidre Hall warns of a slippery pitch with the pawn stuff, on the other hand, is just getting doled out so sluggishly, and it feels like they just keep dancing around the same thing. You and the pawn killed my Katharina. I don't know what you talking about. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. Okay, I do. We eventually got movement on Friday's occasion with Steve admitting what happened, and it was a nice change to see him and Constantine yelling at each other. But, it's just too late for me to watch about a villain who's been driving us bonkers for far too long. Constantine's been too important of a oleaginous, smarmy, annoying creep. His line Friday about being authentically appreciative of Steve admitting his pain was well done and should have hit. But it didn't, and that's a shame. For this story to be at all worthwhile for me, I am going to need some exposures to shift Steve and John's relationship in some way. There's got to be a point to it besides learning about a dead person we know we met. A trip around town, I noticed the storehouse quarter shot right down, but wasn't sure if it was a one-off. But also we got a view of the sanitarium and a shot of town Salem at John and Marlena's condo. And while they do'nt all gel, good lord, Salem can't be as big as that megacity view we got. I am thrilled that we're re-getting them. Days Salem University Sanitarium surface establishing shot, it's making Salem feel more real and not just the same recycled sets. I can't imagine they re-precious to include, and it's just a nice little perk. Hopefully, we'll get to see some of the palaces next. Squall, perhaps an upstanding view of the domain. Watch, after seeing that one bench for periods, it'll look like Central Park. Slapdash studies, so, nothing about Alice's time capsule this week, Days? I know I mentioned timing a Horton rejuvenescence to the 60th would be great, but let's not stay that long to open the box. With an violent expression, Abe grips Lonnie's arms at the sanitarium coffee station. Her eyes brim with gashes. I am still not entirely sure what the point of Abe still being amnesiac is at this point, because he doesn't act any different from Abe with his recollections. I appreciated all the talk of Holly demanding recovery and muscles devolving from the coma, but also they kind of signed that out with EJ walking her to the table with minimal trouble. Wendy and Tripp's scenes this week were actually sweet, especially him calming her down after her fear attack, but they still not exactly given agency in this story. And that big Valentine's Day geocaching thing they were planning was just commodity to get abducted from? Well, Sloane eventually got her sexy time and suddenly she liked being a mama again. Who knew that's all it would take? Stefan strikes again, maternal support, Steve remains silent. Days of Our Lives spoilers update indicate that Clyde Weston has formally again ordered Stefan Demera to get relief of Harris Michaels. Still, Stefan has formerly meddled this up, formerly. Nicole Walker and EJ Demera lavish Holly Jonas with love and attention, but why not the verity? Stefan Demera goes after Harris Michaels again. Days of Our Lives spoilers reveal that Stefan will try again to silence Harris for good. Of course, Stefan formerly shot him doubly and Harris survived. Now Clyde has ordered Stefan to try again and he more succeed this time. How opprobrious is it that one of Stefan Demera's children could be ordered around by this low-life miscreant? Clyde has handed drug in a hype. This time to get the job done, but that doesn't mean Stefan will succeed. How presto does this drug work? Can Stefan pull off edging in it? Stefan hasn't been a veritably successful bad Joe so far. It seems that Mommy Dearest Vivian Alamain, Louise Sorrell, missed many assignments with this bone. Will Stefan succeed? DOL spoilers maternal support gone too far. Holly is awake and on her way to a full recovery from what it seems. Still, Holly has no idea what happened to her and this clearly doesn't feel to forebode well for Tate. Moreover, Holly was out on a date when she overdosed on Clyde's alloid medicines, but it seems that she remembers Tate giving them back to her and nothing differently. Tate has set up himself in a juvenile recovery after being sprung from jail where he was being held as an grown-up. Tate has been transferred to an installation in Salem and agreed to see his parents if they apologize. What exactly are they apologizing for? EJ is the one railroading him. What further does Tate anticipate from his parents? Days of Our Lives Stefan strikes again, maternal support, Steve remains silent. Days of Our Lives Steve Johnson refuses to give in. Constantine is formally again making demands on Steve to tell him who killed his woman. Still, Steve refuses to tell Constantine what he wants to know. Steve denies knowing the answer, but everyone knows he knows further than he's saying. Steve isn't about to give Constantine anything that he can use against John. Steve truly has more important effects on his mind than dealing with Constantine right this moment. Tripp Johnson and Wendy Shin have been abducted and Tripp is trying to deliver them. Will Trip figure out where they're and get them home safely while exposing a crooked Bobby?